since 2006. I have over 80 employees that are currently employed for me.
Oh, wow.
So I wake up every day and I want this. I want it really bad. I want it for my family. I want it for my grandkids. I want to create a legacy. I want to change the lives of the people that I work with, including my staff. I am very passionate about the work that I do. So I'm always thinking about how I can do more and how I can be better as an entrepreneur.
Thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thank you for having me.
And this has been your Associated Bank Black Business Give Back Spotlight with Circle of Friends Adult Day program right here on the award-winning 1017 The Truth.
Listen to the home of the 5K Gruber Cash Giveaway. 1017 FM, 1510 AM, WGKB Waukesha, and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. This is your 1017 The Truth News Update.
Hello, everyone. This is Rhea Riley with your news update. The Wisconsin Supreme Court has ruled unanimously that UW Health is not legally required to recognize its nurses' union or engage in collective bargaining. The decision upholds prior rulings and affirms that the 2011 law known as Act 10, which limited collective bargaining for public employees, applies to UW Health. Nurses had argued the hospital could still choose to bargain, especially after pandemic-era staffing issues. The court sided with UW Health, saying the law removed obligation. Milwaukee County will lose $2 million in federal grants after a low-income senior living center proposal failed. The County Board of Supervisors voted 10-7 on Thursday to reject the proposal to construct parts of McGovern Park. The Journal-Sentinel reports the county had selected parts of McGovern Park's 61 acres to build senior housing, but neighborhood residents shot down the idea. Members of the county's Commission of Aging warns that more needs to be done to preserve the county's senior living centers. The county's current 5 senior living centers have $20 million in deferred maintenance. 2 police officers are shot, one critically in a late-night shooting in Milwaukee. Officers responded around 9:20 p.m. Thursday night to reports of a person firing shots near 24th and Garfield. The suspect was arrested without incident around 2 a.m. this morning. Milwaukee Police Association President Alex Ayala says the critically injured officer had surgery overnight at Freighter Hospital.
The next 24 hours are going to be crucial for him, so I just want everybody to pray for him for the next 24 hours. Hopefully everything goes well and he makes it through this.
The other officer is now in stable condition. In the past 5 months, Milwaukee has had 4 police-involved shootings. This has been your news update. Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris is next on the new 1017 The Truth.
Bringing you his authentic perspectives on important topics.
They live in suburbs together. They live in the city together. They hang out together, all in the same family. We're the only idiots that fight because we want our voice to only be on one side. Like, does that even make any sense? And when the side loses, you lose everything. They, on the other hand, have a voice no matter what because somebody that looks like them is always in control.
Frank, candid, and straight to the point.
Well, it's just a skewed system.
Of course it is.
It's a lot of judgment.
But answer my question, though. Should we let people go? Should we let people go? Like, let's just forget about bail altogether. And if your neighbor commits a homicide and kills people up, if you kill people and they next to you and you just let them come back and live right next to you, they can live upstairs from you. Let them come in your house.
Frank, candid, and straight to the point. This is the best radio show in the state of Wisconsin. Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth and The Truth app.
Now, he's the mayor of the city of Milwaukee. He's a young man. Give him a chance. I only complain about things that I care about. What I want you to do is pretend like I'm in St. Louis. And all I'm asking the mayor and the Common Council president and the Common Council, show me.
Now, live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in the heart of downtown Milwaukee, here is Dr. Ken Harris.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. 833-212-1017 is the number. It is officially Pop-Off Friday. And I'm going to be talking about something that's really short and really simple and really straightforward. Hey, Kwanda, what's going on? Not really a city girl. She said, good afternoon, Dr. Ken. Wishing you a wonderful weekend. It's hot already. So when I drove in, first of all, I didn't drive my car, right? I drove a different car, which is a big SUV. Now, I don't like SUVs. I don't like them because I set up too high. You can see everything, and it's not nimble. You can't go places you want to go. You can't park in any old parking space. You got to find a space that'll fit, space you can back in. You know, with a small car, I could just speed up and back in before the cars behind me, like, get up to me. Now I got to stop and wait for the traffic to clear, and then go in and do that. But I thought I'd share something with you today because it's Pop-Off Friday. Because I found something on Snapchat. You might have seen it before. Yes, I'm one of those weirdos. I'm on all the apps, and I'm on Signal and WhatsApp, and I'm on everything, right? And so I just kind of take a day and just kind of go through and see what's there. I came across a video on Snapchat that responds to the conversation about religion and all that stuff we were talking yesterday. You know, some of y'all went off and hollered at me and raised your voice and screamed at me, and it was actually kind of entertaining, because that's what we're here to do, entertain and inform. It's Milwaukee Black Talk. And so I thought I would give you an opportunity to hear my response to it in the words of someone else. It was a comedian. And so while we go back and forth about politics and whether or not you should be a socialist or a communist, or what are you if you believe in a democratic republic? A democratic Republican or anyway. All the things about life in Milwaukee and all those things. Well, I'm here to tell you, regardless of all that stuff, politics, religion, family, LGBTQ, let me think of something else, gender stuff, race, all that, ethnicity. You only have two things in life to worry about. You ready? Whether you're healthy or whether you're sick. Now, if you're healthy, you got nothing to worry about. But if you're sick, you got two things to worry about. Whether you'll get better, and you might, or whether you'll get worse. Now think about that. No matter where you are, no matter what you do, no matter how much money you have, no matter what you do in life, you only have two things in life to really, truly be worried about. And that's quality of life, whether you're healthy or whether you're sick. And if you're healthy, you're not worried. But if you're sick, you got two more things to worry about, whether you'll get better or whether you'll get worse. Now, if you get better, you got what? You got nothing to worry about. But if you get worse, you got two things to worry about. And so think about it. The only two things in your entire life, no matter what your age is whether or not you're healthy or sick. If you're healthy, you got nothing to worry about. If you're sick, you got two things to worry about, whether or not you'll get better or you'll get worse. And if you get better, you're fine. But if you get worse, you got two things to worry about, whether you'll live or whether you'll die. And that's what it all comes down to, whether you'll live or die. Now, if you live, you got nothing to worry about. Because you're healthy, you got sick, but you got better. But if you should happen to get worse, you got to worry about two things, whether you live or you die. And if you live, there's nothing to worry about. Now, if you die, you got two things you got to worry about. And so we spend all our time in politics and religion and black and white and neighborhoods and 53206 and cops getting shot and all kind of stuff going on. But you really only have two things to worry about, whether you're healthy or whether you're sick. And if you're healthy, you got nothing to worry about. And if you're sick, you got two things to worry about, getting better or get worse. And if you get better, you got nothing to worry about. But if you get worse, you got two things to worry about, whether or not you'll live or die. And if you live, you got nothing to worry about. But if you die, you got two things to worry about. And that's whether you'll go to heaven or whether you'll go to hell. And that's it. Now, if you go to heaven, you got nothing to worry about. But if you go to hell, you got two things to worry about. But you shouldn't get that far, because if you're healthy, if you realize no matter what your life is, you only have two things that you have to actually deal with that you control. It's whether you're healthy or whether you're sick. What you do to yourself, what you eat, whether or not you work out, do you walk, all those things. And if you're healthy, you got nothing to worry about. And if you're sick, you got two things to worry about, getting better or getting worse. And if you get better, you got nothing to worry about. But if you get worse, you got two things to worry about, whether or not you'll die or whether or not you'll live. And if you live, you got nothing to worry about. And if you die, you got two more things to worry about, whether or not you go to heaven or whether or not you go to hell. And if you go to heaven, you got nothing to worry about. But if you go to hell, you got two things to worry about. Original or extra crispy.
And that is Dr. Ken's Truth on the new 1017 The Truth.
Summerfest is back, and the award-winning 1017 The Truth has you covered with front-row access passes to the best concerts at Summerfest this year.
Tune in to all your favorite Truth shows every day so you do not miss your chance to win tickets and wristbands to see artists like Offset, Bossman D-Lo, Ira Star, T Grizzly, and so many more.
Do not miss your chance to see these artists up close and personal during Milwaukee's biggest summer party. Summerfest is presented by our founding partner, American Family Insurance.
What's poppin', Truth Nation? It's your girl Noni Juice from my friends at Steinhafels. And right now, it's Steinhafels' 4th of July sale, and the savings are sizzling. Save 10% off store-wide on furniture for every room. Plus, get hot door busters like a Sealy mattress, any size, for just $199. And it gets even better. Take an extra $100 off every $9.99 that you spend. Steinhafels is Wisconsin's #1 furniture and mattress destination, trusted for over 90 years. So shop in-store or online at Steinhafels.com. Don't miss it, only at Steinhafels.
Ready for more fun? More friendships? More adventures?
Then it's time to become a Girl Scout. Explore the outdoors, meet forever friends, and make a difference in your community. Sign up for our extended year membership today. Girls can join for $98 and adults for $42. Start in April and enjoy up to 5 extra months of fun. The extended year membership is April 1st, 2025 to September 30th, 2026, followed by a regular membership year. So what are you waiting for? Join us and be a Girl Scout.
I've got to share that I am also a beneficiary of the Old National Bank Empowerment Loan Program. So, Tracy, with that being said, what is the Empowerment Loan Program?
Great. Well, the Empowerment Loan Program is a special purpose loan program that we launched 2 years ago. It has been a success. It was something, again, near and dear to the heart of not only our chairman and CEO, but just our organization as a whole. We work with contractors, consulting firms, retail food operations, daycares. In fact, so far, we've approved $50 million of loans to minority and women-owned businesses within a 2-year period.
And for those that are now leaning more into this conversation, what's the best way to get in contact with you as part of their interest in the Empowerment Loan Program?
I'm going to give you my cell phone number to the listeners. It's 414-687-7393. And if that doesn't work, feel free to reach me at my email, tracy.meeks@oldnational.com.
Tracy Meeks, Senior Vice President, Community Lending Market Executive from Old National Bank.
This is Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. 833-212-1017 is the number. And currently, unfortunately, it's 86 degrees. It's 83 degrees, feels like 86. Tonight's low is looking like it's going to be 61 degrees. So, what's the weekend look like? Boom, 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 boom. Saturday, high of 78, mostly sunny. Maybe a 5% chance of rain. On Sunday, the high is 89, low of 70, mostly sunny with a 24% chance of rain. So, be careful. Next weekend is all 80s. So, we shall see. I drank too much soda today. I don't drink a lot of soda. But then when I do, anyway. 833-212-1017 is the number. So I don't know if you've heard, some people talked about it. 2 Milwaukee police officers were shot. Story on JS Online has some great information. Dave Cleary, Ashley Lutheran, Daniel Bice, John Dietrich, Sophie Carson, and I believe it's Aurelia Lopez from the Journal Sentinel, updated today at about an hour and a half ago. Law enforcement sources say Milwaukee police arrested 22-year-old Tremaine Jones in the shooting that injured 2 police officers yesterday, leaving one with life-threatening injuries and the other injured. Shooting took place at 9:30 p.m. in the alley in the 2200 block of North 24th Place as 2 officers approached the area. Milwaukee police did not identify Jones in a June 27th statement, which was earlier today, announcing a suspect's arrest, but 2 sources confirmed the name to the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel, and he was listed in a booking log. Milwaukee Journal Sentinel typically does not name suspects who have not been charged with a crime unless they're a public figure. The news organization is naming the suspect, in this case, because of the high-profile nature of the incident. That is not a reason to bypass journalistic integrity and then tell me, oh, this is why we do it, because we think. I don't think that's a good reason. I don't think that's a good reason to do it. I think you should have withheld the name until the person was arrested. And I say it time and again. I never see you do this with white people when they commit crimes. It seems the media only does it when there's a black suspect. So I don't really understand what that's about. I would hope they prove me wrong, and then they can show me, hey, actually you're wrong, blah, 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 blah. Police arrested the suspect at 2:15 a.m. Suspect was arrested without incident. Charges will be referred to the Milwaukee County District Attorney's Office. 32-year-old police officers in critical condition, 29-year-old officer who suffered injuries. Both remain hospitalized. Police say neither returned fire at the suspect. And so, they're looking. And the officer, Kendall Corder, I believe they released the name in another article. It's terrible. It's terrible. What are your thoughts? 833-212-1017 is the number. I don't know if we can say non-life threatening. We have to stop saying that when people get shot,
because complications can pop up and things can happen. And then all of a sudden, you don't know. Sepsis. They could become septic. Anything could happen. So I think that the report of that just, yeah. Anyway. Oh, he hung up? Oh, okay. The critically injured officer suffered several gunshot wounds to his upper arm. At least one round struck his chest and caused severe internal injuries, including to his heart, and went to surgery. Assistant Chief Nicole Waldner said at a news conference, a horrible thing that has once again happened to our city. So, suspect injured the officers as they responded to reports of a suspect firing shots near 25th and Garfield. Both officers worked in District 2 and have about 6 years of service each. Shooting occurred in Police District 3. Waldner pushed back on the idea that department staffing issues played a role in the shooting. Whoever said that was dumb. She said the availability of guns was the issue. I don't think that would have prevented anything. Today, Waldner said, I could put an officer on every single corner. It does not eliminate the number of guns in the hands of people that shouldn't have them all over the city. So, and then Russell Stamper, Common Council member, Common Councilman, Russell Stamper II, who represents the area, put out a press release today. So you can find that on the City Hall website. Here's my problem with this. You name somebody who hasn't been charged. And I think that's unconscionable that the Journal Sentinel did that. But then you put in your court record show he's been arrested before as a teenager, 2 misdemeanors, blah, blah. That should not be in this story because his name should not be in this story. Wait for it to unfold. Stop having to be first with everything and do the right thing. I think it's terrible that you actually printed that person's name. And here's the kicker. Can you actually get a fair trial now after you've put this person's past in the story that people from the jury pool, if it goes to trial, are going to have to read? See, that is what I'm talking about. That. 833-212-1017 is the number. Kay, you're on the award-winning 1017 The Truth.
Yeah, it's very sad. Unfortunately, people are going to do what they're going to do. I understand your frustration in regards to if it wasn't a Caucasian individual, it wouldn't have went in there. You are absolutely right. But until we
Now, let me preface that by saying I don't know if the officer was black or white. I'm speaking in terms of the suspect.
Who? You don't know what? I'm sorry. Say that again.
I don't know if the officer was black or white. I'm speaking in terms of the young man who did the crime.
Right. I'm speaking in regards to him too. And the officer was an African American.
Okay.
He was black. Yeah, his family members called the station earlier today when I was listening.
Okay.
But yeah, I feel your frustration with that in regards to them saying, putting the information out there, jumping the gun actually. And you're right. If it wasn't a Caucasian guy, it definitely wouldn't have been jumped. They just do what they do for them. But in regards to that, we have to hold people accountable. So if we don't collectively call whomever put it out and ask why and complain about it, we can't really expect for anything to be done.
That is true.
They're going to keep doing it, and we can say it all day long. But until we be in their face at they job or on the phone complaining, nothing. They're going to continue to do what they do. That's why they do what they do, because we're upset of 5 minutes, and we're done. And on to the next situation.
On to the next, right. But the other thing we can do, the other thing we can do is simply, and I'm not saying do this, I'm saying one of the options is to simply not spend your money with that person.
That is absolutely true. I mean, I haven't shopped at Target since all of the DEI stuff. It's nothing for me not to spend my money with you, especially if you can't do right by me or my people.
But it has to be. But it has to be for everybody. It can't be just for big companies or white people. When black people treat you bad, they don't do right. You got to do the same thing. Do you think?
Oh, absolutely. They can get it too. It's for everybody, as far as I'm concerned. I don't discriminate when it comes to that. I really don't. I'm not going to spend my money with you just because you black. No, it don't work like that. I'm not giving my money to anybody with horrible customer service. I don't care what color you are.
All right.
But until we, collectively work together on that, it's going to forever be the same. That's why stuff is the same now.
But what does that look like? When people say collectively work together, what does that look like, and what's the outcome?
What it look like?
Yeah.
It looks like what the Caucasian folks do. They can hate each other. You ain't going to know it. And they're not going to let you come in between that. Hence why we have who we have in office.
Well, that is nothing. We're not going to talk about politics. Let's move past that.
I ain't got no problem moving past that. But like I know, they ain't gonna go against their own for you. That's for sure. So if they don't do nothing, they do that right, and we need to take that out their playbook.
Okay, so let me play devil's advocate. So if the white people only deal with white people and black people only deal with black people, then what?
Okay, then what?
No, I'm asking you. Then what?
Then it's gonna be what it's gonna be. I mean, we can thrive without them. You think we can't? Black Wall Street.
I know we can. Oh no. I know we can.
Well, then it is what it is. It is what it is.
But do you think people have gotten? You think people have gotten used to the lifestyle, the suburban lifestyle, the working in a predominantly white business, getting paid the money they get paid? You think they want to be ostracized by the class that they've built themselves up to be?
I couldn't really answer that, because people flip flop, especially our people, in a heartbeat.
Well, everybody does that.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to money, everybody does that. That's why a black person can build a business and want to get something built and run business and make money. People will always partner with you, even if they're not black, because they know they want to make money, because that seems to be the one thing. Now, when it comes to class, we can make money together, but you can't live next door to me.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That part is true. But you can't do business with everybody either. That's like a thing of the past. You can't do business with everybody, but you live and you learn. You live and you learn, but
so do you shop all black?
No, I do. I try to shop as black as I can.
Mm-hmm.
As much as I can. I absolutely do. Yeah. As much as I can.
All right. Well, thank you much. I appreciate it, Kay.
Oh, no problem. Later.
All right. 833-212-1017 is the number. I'm telling you. It's crazy. And it'll probably only get worse. And now with 1017, The Truth Traffic, here's Debbie Lazica.
An accident continues to cause problems on southbound 894, right about at Beloit Road. The right lane is blocked, and that's got things backed up all the way into the zoo interchange, so something to keep in mind there. Also, a crash northbound 4394 right in the Plainfield curve on the left shoulder. Should be about gone, though, hopefully pretty soon. Southbound 41, heavy from Good Hope Road all the way down past Capitol. Northbound is backing up from Watertown Plank Road, solid pretty much all the way up to Hampton. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast tonight, partly cloudy skies, lower humidity, a low of 63. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, a high of 78 at the lake, 84 inland. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 101.7 The Truth.
More of Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris is next on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
At Hope Christian Schools, they're transforming lives through the power of Christ-centered education. Their nurturing environment combines academic excellence with strong Christian values. They offer free transportation and free tuition options to help set children up for success. Through faith, dedication, and unconditional love, they empower their scholars to discover their God-given potential and pursue their greater purpose. Don't wait. Start your child's journey at hopeschools.org.
This is your Versity Blood Center of Wisconsin Community Impact Moment on 1017 The Truth.
And what are some of the ways that you're inspiring people? Because, you know, one of the biggest opportunities, in particular in the African-American community, is access, exposure, and awareness.
For Versity Blood Center of Wisconsin, we've been here 76 years.
Wow.
And our mantra is saving the lives you love. So if someone you love needs a blood transfusion and they're in any hospital in Southeast Wisconsin here, that blood's coming from us. And so we're trying to make sure that we're communicating that, because I think folks maybe don't understand that blood can't be manufactured. And summers are always tough because schools are out and we collect about 20 to 25% of our blood from schools. Mm-hmm. So it's always a day-to-day struggle. We say that the blood that's on the shelves is the blood that saves lives. And a lot of times people are compelled to donate when something bad happens. And our mission and our job is to educate folks so that we can get ahead of the curve and keep 3 days of inventory on the shelves. Mm-hmm. So we're in a decent spot right now, but we're on the streets every day trying to inspire people to join our mission. One of our big projects that we're proud of is Versity on King, which is part of the Thrive On collaboration in the Gimbel Schuster building on Martin Luther King Drive. And next year, we're going to open a destination center there. It'll be a blood donation center, but it'll be more than that, because we've realized that we can't be transactional with our relationships in the Black community. We need to do things that are intentional and that show that we're there to stay. But the reason that we're there is because not enough people that look like us donate. And so for disorders like sickle cell disease that disproportionately affect us, the race can matter. But I like to say that, you know, Black folks have a superpower in their blood. 44% of Black blood donors will have this rare trait that makes their blood more likely to be able to be a match for a sickle cell patient. And that 44%, like that is way higher than what we would find in other races.
To make an impact by donating blood in your community, visit versity.org today.
This Associated Bank Sports Update on 101.7 The Truth is powered by ESPN Milwaukee. I'm Brandon Snide. Milwaukee Brewers will begin a 3-game series against the Colorado Rockies over at American Family Field. The Milwaukee Brewers at 45-36 on the season. Jose Quintana on the mound. First pitch is set for 7:10. Over to the NBA, where the Milwaukee Bucks made their selection in the NBA draft last night, number 47th overall.
The Milwaukee Bucks select Bogoljub Markovic.
Markovic last played in Serbia, where he averaged just over 13 points per game.
Certainly from a physical side and mental side, it has prepared me, I think, the most out of anyone here, in my opinion. But I'm just super glad to be here, blessed, ready to get to work.
This Sports Update brought to you by Associated Bank, proudly supporting your hometown teams. Member FDIC.
You are listening to Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. Friday afternoon. What's going on? I'm here. I made it to Friday. I'm here. Miles said, I'm not trying to violate HIPAA, but then don't ask. Dude. You know how when somebody say, I'm not trying to insult you, and then they insult you. That's just bizarre. All right. So, folk be putting their business on social media, on a YouTube chat where everybody can read it. What's going on? Kwanda said she's not going to pop off today. She'll leave it for me. Okay. He'll leave it for me. I got to tell people, and you might have heard of it, and I'm not the guy that supports 100% of all things psychological, because sometimes it sounds like it's an excuse, or we take something that happened to a small population of people and then just kind of extrapolate and, oh, it's everybody. Well, no, it's not. But I got to tell you, black fatigue is a thing. It's the emotional and psychological exhaustion. They say racism and microaggressions. I'm not really a purveyor of microaggressions because you can find an aggression or a microaggression in everything somebody says. The problem is you'll become a perpetual victim. The way you look at me is a microaggression. The way you said boy to somebody else and you weren't talking to me, microaggression. Like it's not. And I think in those instances, we need to be a little stronger. But I think what's happening is hearing about politics and Democrats and Republicans and community and shootings and violence and social dysfunction and, lack of unity and accountability. It's like, no. You get tired. You get fatigued. Mary Frances Winters coined the term black fatigue, intended to describe the cumulative toll that the effects of hatred can have on people, black people. But now white people have taken that, and now they use it when they said, I'm tired of black people. I have black fatigue, too many black people. You got white fatigue, too? I don't know. Hispanic fatigue? How do we use it against black people? I say we in a euphemistic kind of way. Attributing negative behaviors to black fatigue, laziness, crime, perpetuating stereotypes, negative ones. Now, people always argue you shouldn't stereotype. Well, everybody does it. There are positive stereotypes and negative stereotypes. We blame things that are in the system, the policies, the people, and we blame the individual, right? And I talked about that the other day, where the black person who's successful, well, Barack Obama's an example that racism is over in America. Well, no, it's not. No, he's not. He's just the one that was successful. That doesn't make racism just fizzle and go away. Or many times people get tired of when you're deficient in something. Now, someone else can be deficient in it as well. But if you're deficient in it and you're black, it's like there's this issue. Well, why? And I'm going to be honest, I get that sometimes. I was on a Zoom call the other day, and the person doing the Zoom call said, you have any questions? And I said, yes. Such and such and such and such, blah, 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 blah. And I waited for it. And the person said, well, so-and-so can answer that question. You know what so-and-so said? Well, why don't you just wait until, basically stop talking and wait and so she can move on with the thing. Not she'll be able to answer your question that's come up in one of the segments. Nope, didn't say that. Wasn't even respectful about it. Basically, you can shut up, stop talking so we can move on, so we can keep going. And I said, okay, and I logged off. I watched the video. Those types of things. But you know what happens is that comes from people that look like you. It's that thing, right? It's either gender or race or I don't know what it is. But I understand why people get to a certain age and just tap out. Tap out. What's the old saying? Casting out thy pearl before swine? Packing up all my stuff, I'm out. Unfortunately, I have the day, the time, and the place. Like I have it, and I wrote it down where nobody can get to it. Like that date in the future when people go, where's Dr. Ken? That. You have to overcome all that. Now, what I have to do is make a conscious choice. Do I bother with this, knowing that there's a termination of this thing, or do you push back and say, excuse me, like, were you talking to me? Like the person said, if you had a question, ask. So now I ask, and you tell me basically to be quiet. Oh, okay. But that happened in another instance too when I asked a question, and I guess the question was too deep. So now the person gave me that same pushback, and I'm like, oh, okay, it's like that. Got it. See, what happens is people say they want, but they don't really want. They say they want to help you, but they really don't want to help you. They say they want to build things and make things better, but they don't really want to make things better. It's all talk. Unfortunately, it's like that in every single area of your life. Work, home, friends, out at the bar, corporations, schools, hospitals, don't matter. Law firm, don't matter. It's everywhere. It's unfortunate because other people want to tell you why you can't do something when they're the ones that are supposed to give you the tools to get it done. Well, why don't you know that? Oh, well, we put that in X. Well, but you didn't tell me it was an X, right? And so then when you do or say something and you're correct, the other side of the people start to nitpick every little thing you do. What about this? What about this? What about this? And then when you have answers for it, now they're frustrated. Oh, I couldn't get them. It's that weaponizing their own hatred, their own bigotry, and start coming after you. Because they perceive something to be negative when, in fact, you should just be quiet and roll through and not say anything. Based on things that happened yesterday and last week, I think that's about to come to an end. I think change is about to happen. I think this summer, unless they get a handle on what's going on, Milwaukee's going to be off the chain. It's not a lack of police officers. We've had more, we've had less. It's not they worked in District 2 and now they came over to District 3. You know how many times when I worked in District 6 on the south side? Hey, Squad 64, yeah. Switch over to channel, whatever channel District 3 was on. Switch over to channel and report to District 3 for assignments. Switch over to channel 1 and take assignments. And that's what you did. Because the patch says City of Milwaukee. It don't say City of Milwaukee District 6, District 2. It says City. And so the idiot reporter who was questioning, well, the squad was from District 2. So what does that matter? Doesn't matter at all. You work in the city. You can take a call. I might show up to work and they tell me, hey, we need you to report to District 4 for assignments. Just go there and get a car. I'll be like, okay. Because that's how it works. And it's unfortunate. All of this stuff, all of the fatigue on both sides is going to start to come to a head. and it's only June 27th. I shudder to think what the 4th of July will look like. I'm literally considering not being in Milwaukee or even Wisconsin during the 4th of July. And that's terrible. That's a terrible thing. What are your thoughts? 833-212-1017 is the number. I would like to know how you feel about what's going on in the city of Milwaukee. When I come back, I'm going to hit the YouTube chat, the talk and text line. And if you call me, you're listening to Truth in the Afternoon.
Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris returns after this on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Truth Nation, unfortunately, violence is on the rise in Milwaukee, and this is a problem which impacts us all. Please join me and the Truth team on Saturday, July 12th from 9 a.m. to noon for our 3rd annual Walk Against Violence, supported by 1MKE. Enough is enough. Now it's time to bring an end to senseless violence in our community. To join our Walk Against Violence on Saturday, July 12th, visit truthwalkagainstviolence.com to sign up today.
Ready to buy your first house, move into your forever home, or simply refinance? At Associated Bank, they've got you. With the right lending plan and guidance, you can achieve your dreams. Your financial goals are closer than you think, and Associated Bank is excited to help you reach them. Learn more at associatedbank.com/lending or ask a banker for details. Subject to credit approval, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Hey everybody, it's Sherwin Hughes, and I got to tell you about one of my absolute favorite places in the city, Mr. B's Privileged Lounge, located on the northwest side of Milwaukee at 8617 West Brown Deer Road. Mr. B's is your go-to destination for comfort food, an incredible drink menu, and live music that keeps the vibes going all night long. So whether you're winding down or if you want to turn up, Mr. B's has the flavor, the energy, and the atmosphere you've been looking for. Mr. B's Privileged Lounge, privileged to serve.
It's 1017 The Truth's Dr. Ken Harris for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. When it's time to upgrade your windows and doors, wouldn't you like to work with the best? But maybe you're thinking in these volatile times, I don't want to spend a fortune. Well, Pella, the best in the industry, has a product line for every budget, and right now you can get no interest and no payments for up to 2 years. And if the plan is to wait, guess what? You can get it now and wait to start making payments up to 2 years. Pella truly believes that quality windows and doors don't have to be expensive. With a range of affordable options and products assembled in the U.S., you can get the look you want at a price you can afford. And with Pella's free in-home consultation, no obligation quote, and range of available financing, getting new windows and doors from Pella is easier than you think. Certain restrictions apply. Ends June 30th of 2025. Set your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com.
It's Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Girl, words can't express the way I feel for you. The way you hold me, the way you touch me.
That's me playing the bass. I didn't say it was a real one. I said it was air bass. You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. 833-212-1017 is the number. Too much stuff going on today. Too much. It's just too much. It's too much. Talking text line, Dr. Ken, we will have the smallest infraction against each other and hold a grudge all the way to the grave. What happened to forgiveness? Forgiveness is a character thing. I think you were correct in your assertion, not really a city girl. We hold on to that. We forgive, but we don't forget. And I think we put too much weight in the forgiveness part instead of the forgetting. I said that backwards. In the forgetting part instead of the forgiving. We carry both. It differs with each person. And sometimes people are able to handle it, and sometimes people are not. Yes, I popped off all week long, and no, I'm not calm. Because 2 cops got shot. Now, sometimes you can forgive and forget because the person's gone out of your life. Maybe we need to add a third one. Forgive, forget, and remove. I don't know. Curly Q said, that's like when they ask, did you find everything okay at the store? Say no and see what happens. Unless you're at a Woodman's. Nothing. So they said, Dr. Ken, you'll be fine if these adults, that's what Al said, adults and young adults don't change their life, these streets will be the final answer. And see, that's where I disagree with you because even in the complaining and the fighting and the popping off and all that, you still have to do things to make sure those around you are okay. And sometimes you still got to say it, even though they may not listen and it may not come to fruition in your lifetime. But you still got to do it because it's the right thing to do. Curly Q says, someone said I can forgive you and still keep you at a distance from my own mental health. Stop blaming mental health. Like, not everything is a mental health issue because now it's become the crutch. Oh, I need to stop working because of my mental health. No, you're just lazy. In many instances, you're lazy. Now, if you're getting stressed and you're working 12, 14, 16-hour days, 20-hour days, that can affect your mental health. But if you're going to work, not showing up to work every day, working irregular hours but still expected to get paid, that's a problem. That is a major problem. And you know that's what some of us do. You know it. Wayne said, Dr. Ken, is the city of Milwaukee having fireworks at the lakefront this year? I don't think so. Well, no. I don't know. That's a good question. 833-212-1017. Are we having fireworks this semester? This semester. See, my brain is wired to the university semester system. Dr. Ken, please cite the comedian. I don't know the comedian's name. Let me see if I can find something. Turn my volume down so it don't play over the air. It was on Snapchat, and it was on Snapchat, and it says Spotlight, Grandma said, and JR dots. No, I can't read that. Anyway, there's profanity in it. But anyway, let me see what I can do. Let me figure out how to take care of this. I might even in the 5 o'clock hour throw it in the talking text and put the link in, and you can just, maybe text a keyword and it'll send you the link. Maybe I'll do it like that. Because I ain't getting myself in trouble saying the title of the Dr. Ken used to be on the radio. Yeah, he did till he said that. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Don't want to get myself in trouble. But, I really want to talk to you about Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Time to upgrade your windows and or your doors, and you don't want to really, spend a fortune. Well, Pella, the best in the industry, has a product line for every single budget. Yours, mine, the billionaires, the poor person, which is me, everybody. And right now, you can get no interest and no payments for up to 2 years. So if the plan is to wait, save up, and then get some windows or doors, well, guess what? You can get it right now and wait to make payments for up to 2 years. Certain restrictions apply. Ends 6/30/2025. Today is the 27th. You only got 3 days. What do? You set your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com. That's PellaWI.com. Upgrade windows, doors, on a budget, that's Pella. All right? Make sure you check it out. Let me see what I got coming up. There will be a drone show this year on the lakefront. I think the county is doing the drone show. I don't know what the city is doing. The county's doing the drone show. I don't know whether or not the city is having fireworks. They might not be able to afford them. But they got taxed, right? They taxed us to death, so they could. They should be able to afford it. I'm just saying. Yep. So, yeah, the county's doing it. But that's the county. Does the city ever do a fireworks show? Or are they going to do one at Summerfest? I don't know. I have no idea. Nobody talks to me anymore. which actually is a good thing because then I got to be bothered with all the stuff. You know what I'm saying? Okay. All right. Yes, it is Friday. I'm going to complain about everything today. Complain about black fatigue. The Uber drivers and the Lyft drivers, y'all need to be careful. You know, they went on a little mini strike the other day because they said that they want better wages. And so they've kind of changed it. In the beginning, they sign up, they take 25%, you take 75%. Now they almost, the past 2 months, take between 65 and 70%. And so some people are, quote unquote, boycotting Uber and Lyft. Now, I scrolled through the story, and then I saw some people about the Milwaukee Labor Council said they're monitoring the situation. That's what scares me. They criticize the recent change approved by Wisconsin State Legislature that designate Uber drivers as independent contractors. There's a way, and I think you should call the, like SBA, Small Business Administration, and places like that. Got a bunch of places around here, nonprofits that can teach you how to start a business, be an independent contractor, and actually take home more money. But we complain, and unfortunately, when the labor people get involved, if you try to get a union or unionize in this instance, because the money is so small, you're going to end up giving them more money because it's not a lot of them. And if you only get a certain percentage anyway, no, absolutely not. So be careful. When the labor folks get in, U.S. Department of Labor, local labor, be careful. Hey, top 5 at 5, we're going to be talking about SCOTUS, Supreme Court of the United States, and all the changes they made. Up next.
Truth Nation, in case you missed the amazing premiere of the 8 Block, you've got another chance to tap in. Coming straight from the heart of Milwaukee, the 8 Block is a bold, youth-led radio show powered by City on the Hill and 101.7 The Truth, hosted by me, your boy, Ben Jammin. 8 Milwaukee teens with real stories and real lives. So don't miss the replay this Saturday at 9 a.m. on 101.7 The Truth and hear what the future leaders of the world have to say. Truth Nation, welcome to the 8 Block.
Good Karma Brands would like to send out a big congratulations to Tori Lowe. Tori recently received a proclamation from both the City of Milwaukee and Milwaukee County. So going forward, July 5th will now be recognized as Tori Lowe Day. Tori's activism, advocacy, and hard work makes Tori more than deserving of this recognition. Tori's family at 101.7 The Truth celebrate Tori for always being about that action. And we know this is just the beginning, and there is so much more to come as a result of Tori's efforts and leadership. Congratulations again, Tori.
Summer in Milwaukee is nonstop. Festivals, live music, and fresh city vibes fill the season you already know. From world-famous cultural celebrations to hidden gem street fairs, every neighborhood is a stage, alive with handcrafted traditions, homegrown talent, and world-class entertainment. Music, flavor, culture, whenever you visit, the Cream City is ready to celebrate. This summer, don't just visit. Make sure you experience Milwaukee, the city of festivals.
At Hazelden Betty Ford, treating mental health isn't just about breaking old patterns, it's about braving new ones. As the leader in alcohol and drug treatment for 75 years, we know caring for addiction, anxiety, depression, and trauma goes hand in hand. We're here for you with new tools when life breaks down. Discover your path to better mental health at hazeldenbettyford.org/Wisconsin. Sponsored by Hazelden Betty Ford Foundation.
Dear employer,
My name is Phil Martin.
My name is Michael Raskovich.
Ronaldo Bird.
Zach Dizer.
I am writing to express my excitement at the opportunity to join your team.
As someone on the spectrum,
I possess a unique set of skills
that sets me apart from other candidates.
My detail-oriented nature allows me to communicate complex ideas,
to break down data,
to have no fear in meeting new people.
I may communicate in ways that are different from what you are used to.
Structure, routine,
and clear expectation.
Help me do my best work.
My autism allows me to have a perspective that needs to be seen and heard.
It allows me to make the world safer and improve systems in ways others can't.
It allows me to bring people's inner worlds to life with my artwork.
My autism
will bring your team important insights.
Thank you for your consideration.
An autistic inclusive workplace is good for business. It's time to make a change. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/win.
Get the truth and nothing but the truth with Sherwin Hughes every weekday from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. on 101.7 FM, 1510 a.m. WGKB Waukesha, and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. This is your 101.7 The Truth News Update.
Hello, everyone. This is Rhea Riley with your news update. The Wisconsin Supreme Court has ruled unanimously that UW Health is not legally required to recognize its nurses' union or engage in collective bargaining. The decision upholds prior rulings and affirms that the 2011 law known as Act 10, which limited collective bargaining for public employees, applies to UW Health. Nurses had argued the hospital could still choose to bargain, especially after pandemic-era staffing issues. The court sided with UW Health, saying the law removed obligation. Milwaukee County will lose $2 million in federal grants after a low-income senior living center proposal failed. The County Board of Supervisors voted 10-7 on Thursday to reject the proposal to construct parts of McGovern Park. The Journal-Sentinel reports the county had selected parts of McGovern Park's 61 acres to build senior housing, but neighborhood residents shot down the idea. Members of the county's Commission of Aging warns that more needs to be done to preserve the county's senior living centers. The county's current 5 senior living centers have $20 million in deferred maintenance. 2 police officers are shot, one critically in a late-night shooting in Milwaukee. Officers responded around 9:20 p.m. Thursday night to reports of a person firing shots near 24th and Garfield. The suspect was arrested without incident around 2 a.m. this morning. Milwaukee Police Association President Alex Ayala says the critically injured officer had surgery overnight at Froedtert Hospital.
The next 24 hours are going to be crucial for him, so I just want everybody to pray for him for the next 24 hours. Hopefully everything goes well and he makes it through this.
The other officer is now in stable condition. In the past 5 months, Milwaukee has had 4 police-involved shootings. This has been your news update. Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris continues on the new 101.7 The Truth.
Bringing you his authentic perspectives on important topics.
They live in suburbs together. They live in the city together. They hang out together, all in the same family. We're the only idiots that fight because we want our voice to only be on one side. Like, does that even make any sense? And when the side loses, you lose everything. They, on the other hand, have a voice no matter what because somebody that looks like them is always in control.
Frank, candid, and straight to the point.
Well, it's just a skewed system.
Of course it is.
It's a lot of judgment.
But answer my question, though. Should we let people go? Should we let people go? Like, let's just forget about bail altogether. And if your neighbor commits a homicide and kills people up, if you kill people and they next to you and you just let them come back and live right next to you, they can live upstairs from you. Let them come in your house.
Frank, candid, and straight to the point. This is the best radio show in the state of Wisconsin. Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 101.7 The Truth and The Truth app.
Now, he's the mayor of the city of Milwaukee. He's a young man. Give him a chance. I only complain about things that I care about. What I want you to do is pretend like I'm in St. Louis. And all I'm asking the mayor and the Common Council president and the Common Council, show me.
Now, live from the American Family Insurance Studio at the Avenue in the heart of downtown Milwaukee, here is Dr. Ken Harris.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris, 833-212-1041.
1017 is the number. You ever see yourself on video? Like when you sit on a radio, you kind of sit like this. But then when you see yourself, you sit up, straighten up. Want to make it look all completely and totally unnatural. It's like being a anchor on TV. Because I don't care. That's why I got a face for radio. Oh, yeah. All right. Boom, boom, boom. I got so much stuff to do. I have so many things I want to do and not enough time in the day. Hey, Truth Nation, violence is a problem that affects us all, but together we can make a difference. And the award-winning 1017 The Truth wants to ignite positive change and bring awareness to the senseless violence like what happened with 2 Milwaukee police officers that occurs in our community. This is why we're hosting the 3rd annual Truth Walk Against Violence, led by Tori Lowe, Saturday, July 12th. We're leaving from the Victory Over Violence Park right down MLK Drive to our studio at 3rd Street Market Hall. Over these next few weeks, Tori Lowe will be speaking with politicians and community leaders about how we can better provide resources to stop some of this senseless violence. If you want to join this fight to stop violence, go to truthwalkagainstviolence.com. It's all one word, truthwalkagainstviolence.com. Right now, sign up for our Walk Against Violence, supported by 1MKE. That's Saturday, July 12th, from 9 a.m. till 12 noon. All right? All right? Okay? Get it? Got it? Good.
Number 5.
So I'm going to be going through some cases that just cleared the way yesterday and today from the Supreme Court. And we talked about a little bit of it in the news, but I want to jump in and kind of give you my take on some of the cases. So this is from CNN.com. The Supreme Court today upheld a Texas law that requires age verification for pornographic websites in one of the most closely watched First Amendment cases to arrive at the high court in years. Now, that seems weird to me, but I'll go on. The adult entertainment industry has challenged the Texas law as violating the Constitution because it restricted the ability of adults to access protected online speech. Justice Clarence Thomas wrote the opinion for the 6-3 court, divided along ideological grounds, with the court's 3 liberals dissenting. The statute advances the state's important interest in shielding children from sexual explicit content, Thomas wrote, and it is appropriately tailored because it permits users to verify their age through the established methods of providing government-issued identification and sharing transactional data. So, the Texas law, get this, requires any website that publishes a substantial amount of content that is harmful to minors to verify the age of the minor. The challengers said the law forces adults to identify themselves, such as by providing an ID before accessing pornography, which the group's lawyers said violates access to free speech online because it would chill adults' access to the content. And then they wouldn't make money. So Texas law is similar to more than a dozen others across the country that require users to submit some form of a proof of adulthood. The Supreme Court, over the many decades past, has embraced a robust view of the First Amendment. Last year, it suggested that social media companies are entitled to First Amendment protection for their content moderation decisions. All right? But it has taken a more nuanced approach when it comes to laws attempting to limit minors who would want access to obscene material. Supreme Court in 1997 unanimously invalidated provisions from a federal law intended to protect minors from indecent material online because it also imposed First Amendment burdens on adults. But in reviewing the Texas law, the 5th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals instead relied on a 1968 precedent in which the Supreme Court let stand a New York law barring the distribution of obscene materials to minors. Why would you wouldn't you err on the side of, if you really want to see pornography, prove your age, versus kids can just look at it at will? Like, that sounds bizarre to me that you would let a kid, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, literally come across pornography on the internet. Now, if it's your kid and you want your kid to see pornography, great. But that's just kind of weird. And so when people argue things, and I always find it interesting because we always argue things based on our own ideology and the court's ideology, when in fact it's actually harmful to children. Like, it's been proven over the last, 100 years, but yet we hide behind free speech so we can make money. That's kind of bizarre to me.
Number 4.
The Communications Act of 1934 established the Federal Communications Commission, instructed it to make available to all people of the United States reliable communication services at reasonable charges. That's the U.S. Code 47, Section 151. That objective is known today as universal service. The Universal Service Project arose from a concern that pure market mechanisms would leave some populations, the poor, people who live in the rural areas, without access to needed communications. Because what they'll say is, well, I'm not paying for it because it'll cost me too much money to build out there. Well, under the 1934 Act, the FCC pursued universal service primarily through implicit subsidies, using its rate regulation authority to lower costs for some consumers at the expense of others. In 1996, they amended it, created a new framework for achieving universal service. Section 254 of the amended statute says, every carrier providing interstate telecommunication service to contribute to a fund called the Universal Service Fund. And you probably see it on your little bill. We're still paying for, I think they just took it off. We were paying for the War of 1812. You look at your phone bill, you got all these fees in it. You should go back and watch that. So the FCC must use this money in the fund to pay for universal service subsidy programs. So people that are poor, people that are in rural areas, schools, libraries, rural hospitals, all that stuff, right? They have to consider to which extent a service is deemed essential to education. And so what happened is somebody went to court and they sued because they wanted them to understand what, quote unquote, where was the phrase, what that service was and what was educational. Because some people tried to say, well, no, it's not educational, or it's universal service contribution violates your rights. I shouldn't have to pay into it. But what happened is somebody went to court and calculated how much money they were paying, and they said, well, we shouldn't have to pay this. We shouldn't have to pay this. So a company went and sued the Federal Communications Commission and said it violated the non-delegation doctrine, which means basically that they didn't have an opportunity to pass it along to someone else, right? They had to pay it. And there are other things in here with the FCC versus this company, Consumers Research. What it came down to is that the FCC said, well, not the FCC, but the U.S. Supreme Court, they held that it didn't actually, it wasn't a contribution scheme, that it doesn't violate non-delegation doctrine. You got to pay it because the fact that you're rural or you're poor, that could be considered educational. A library, doesn't matter. It's educational. What they found is that if I'm paying for something in a rural area that then causes a person to learn, it's educational. So they had a sweeping inclusion I guess I can say, to help the FCC say where we can spend the money and where we can't. Some places just wanted the money. Some places got the money and didn't do anything with it. And the Supreme Court finally said the Universal Service Contribution Scheme clears the non-delegation bar, which means the FCC had to give them money to help the people in the rural area. Because what happened is the FCC started to say, hey, we get to tell what's educational or not. And so Consumers Research said, no, the law already says what's educational. And so they sued, and the FCC lost. So now they are going to continue to help people. Now, what's the genesis of this? Folks in Doge are trying to make cuts all over. So they see something and they see poor, or they see, and they just cut it. And somebody sued and went, whoa, time out, player. You can't just cut us off. Like, we literally only have, think about this, electricity, gas, and communications in rural areas, because it's too expensive to build it out, is because the government comes in and pays for it. Otherwise, we wouldn't have it. We wouldn't have education. We wouldn't have electric. We wouldn't have gas. We wouldn't have water. Like, what? And luckily, somebody sued and went, okay, you're being stupid. And they won. So hats off to them. Now something more, I don't know, controversial.
Number 3.
The Supreme Court today ruled that a group of Maryland parents have a right to opt their elementary school age children out of instruction that includes LGBTQ plus themes. By a vote of 6-3, the justices agreed with the parents that are Muslim, Catholic, and Ukrainian Orthodox that the Montgomery County School Board's refusal to provide them with an option violates their constitutional right to freely exercise their religion. And so a lot of people were up in arms about the case. Everybody was upset. So here's what happens. They want to start infusing books about LGBTQ plus lifestyles into the curriculum. Some of the people, Catholic, let me go back, Catholic, Muslim, and Ukrainian Orthodox, said, no, I don't want my children to read that. So initially they gave them an option and said, hey, you can opt out. And so they gave you a little box, you can opt out. What problem do you think they ran into when people opted out? So many people opted out, there were like 5 students in the class. So you know what the school did? Instead of honoring that or recognizing people don't want these books in the curriculum, for whatever reason, it's a personal reason. They removed the opt-out option and made all the students read the books, have the instruction. And that's what people were upset with. I get to decide what my child does and doesn't do while they're in school. You can call me narrow-minded, you can call me dumb, you can call me stupid, you can call me what you want, whatever. But in the end, I am the parent, and I get to decide what my elementary school age child hears, reads, everything, right? They're basing it on their religion. The school flipped and said, nope, it's mandatory, everybody has to go. And they sued all the way to the Supreme Court and won. Without looking at the people who argue on both sides of narrow-minded versus trying to norm your kids and make, same-sex weddings normalized, whatever your argument is for or against, should not weigh above a parent being accountable for their child, because had the child got hurt, you would have held that same parent accountable. Or if the child ends up reading, guess what? Heterosexual pornography. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If the parent doesn't want it, it doesn't matter what it is. If I had somebody who said they didn't want their kid reading about slavery and slavery was in a book, I don't care. I'm cutting out Valentine's Day. I'm cutting out St. Patrick's Day. We already got rid of, what's that guy's name? The Nina and the Pinta and the Santa Maria? Right. We got rid of that day, called it indigenous. Like, at some point, we just need to quit. If you don't want to read it, just skip over it. Like, we are. Can you imagine the amount of money somebody spent going to the Supreme Court to not read a book? I get it because a nonprofit probably stepped in and took the case. The issue I have is the school district that had to go to the Supreme Court to defend itself and waste taxpayer money. Because nobody talks about that. We always talk about we want parent involvement, and then these same people, when the parent steps up and says they don't want it and you want it, you actually like get the parent arrested. Makes no sense. We can't just sit down and talk about things civilly. Sounds familiar.
Number 2.
So this one is interesting. Politico.com, Supreme Court has preserved the provision in the Affordable Care Act that requires insurance companies to cover preventive health services like colonoscopies and HIV prevention drugs at no cost to patients. It's the fourth time in the last 13 years that the High Court has rejected major challenges to the 2010 health law. This time around, the vote was 6-3 with Justice Brett Kavanaugh writing the majority opinion for a cross-ideological majority. 3 of the court's conservatives dissented. The case centered on a panel of experts known as the U.S. Preventative Services Task Force. The Affordable Care Act authorized the task force to specifically specify health screenings and other preventative services that insurers must cover without charging patients copays, deductibles, and other cost sharing. Now, tens of millions of people rely on those services, including cancer screenings, heart disease medication, drugs known as PrEP that prevents the transmission of HIV. And so opponents of the Affordable Care Act who object to the HIV drug argued that the task force chosen by the Secretary of Health and Human Services was unconstitutionally appointed. Supreme Court rejected the argument and reasoned that the members are not principal officers because the health secretary can ignore their recommendations, fire them, or replace them. So I think this is a very good thing, that no matter who pays for what, preventative services, preventative methods, right, are probably the most important thing. Yes, treatment is important, but to get you to a point where you don't need treatment, I think that's a little more important. But that's just me. I'm just one guy.
Number 1.
Well, here it is. Supreme Court today granted the Trump administration's request to partially pause rulings by 3 federal judges that had blocked Donald Trump's executive order ending birthright citizenship, that is, the guarantee of citizenship to virtually anyone born in the United States. By a vote of 6-3, the justices repudiated the concept of universal and nationwide injunctions that prohibit the government from enforcing a law or policy anywhere in the country. The justices did not weigh in on the question at the center of the 3 lawsuits, whether birthright citizenship order itself is constitutional. And so what people need to understand about this is the left is going to say it didn't go far enough, and the right's going to say we won, when in fact, nobody won. Here's what they said, and this is what should have been done all along, and every time somebody tried to change it, a different party got in power, and then they let it go, right? So here's an example. I go to court. I say he has his birthright order, and I don't like it. So I go to a federal court in the jurisdiction where I live because I know it's liberal, and I go to that court. And that federal judge says, hey, we freezing it, put it on hold. Everyone is always taking it to mean that when a federal judge halts something, it's halted countrywide because they're federal. When technically it should be just their district. So if you're in the Northwest, you're out west in the Ninth Circuit, that is probably the most liberal circuit in America. That's where you're going to go because they're probably going to side with you if you're liberal. And then they've got some conservative circuits as well. I say that to say it shouldn't be that way. A federal judge in your district, because Kyle comes to me as a judge and says, I want to stay this order. I don't want this to happen. I want to pause it. And I pause it. It shouldn't pause that order everywhere in the country. It should just pause it in the district where I am. Right? Well, that's not what federal judges do. When there's a liberal president, they go to a liberal district and they get something frozen for the entire country when it's probably not supposed to be that way. And then they get mad at the other side, and then they flip it until they're in office, and then they go to a conservative justice and say, hey, freeze this. And then they get it frozen all over the country, which is not appropriate. And so what the Supreme Court said was that this thing of federal judges putting in a stay and it's being frozen in all districts, when in fact it should only be frozen in the district where the person who came to court to stop it froze it. What they're really saying is that you need class action status for it to be nationwide. If you want to stop something on a national level, there needs to be class action. Now, the problem is, you know how hard it is to meet the criteria for a class action lawsuit? Pretty steep. And it might be a little expensive. So that's what we have now. They didn't make a determination on whether or not birthright citizenship was legal or illegal, constitutional or unconstitutional. They're saying that when a judge comes in and says you can't do that, they're only talking to the people within their jurisdiction. They are not talking to people nationwide. Now, what that's going to have is an effect when a Democratic president comes in and a Republican doesn't like what they do, and they go to court and they'll try to freeze it nationwide, and they'll say, no, you can't do that. Under the Trump administration, the Supreme Court said that you can't do that. And that's the way it's going to go. I personally think I agree with this, that it needs to be a broader way, but we have to be careful how it's used. We need some criteria. We need all those things. You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Time to upgrade your windows and your doors, but you don't want to spend a lot of money. Summertime, you want to go on vacation, do something. Well, Pella, the best in the industry, has a product line for every single budget. Right now, today, the 27th, right now, you can get 0 interest, 0 payments for up to 2 years. So if you were trying to wait, guess what? You can get it done right now. And wait to start making payments for up to 2 years. Certain restrictions apply. Ends 3 days. June 30th of 2025. Set your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com. That's PellaWI.com.
One call, that's all.
One call, that's all is right now. It's your chance to be our one call, that's all 5K giveaway entry for today. June 27th, 2025. Yes, you can be entered in to win $5,000 courtesy of Gruber Law Offices. Be caller number 8. Caller number 8 right now at 833-212-1017, and you'll be entered in to win the $5,000 giveaway with the award-winning 1017 The Truth and Gruber Law Offices. Again, 833-212-1017 is the number to be caller number 8. Remember, if you or your loved one has ever been injured in an accident, call Gruber Law Offices today. Contact them at gruber-law.com. That's gruber-law.com. And again, for official contest rules, visit 1017thetruth.com.
More of Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Here at the new 1017 The Truth, we aim to be a staple in Milwaukee's Black community. We are committed to partnering with local organizations and supporting Black-owned businesses. We are proud to call Milwaukee our city and promise to be a positive reflection of our community. We look forward to celebrating Black culture and excellence with you every day as we make history and continue to uplift the voices in our city. Join us for the journey at the new 1017 The Truth, founded by Gruber Law Offices. Milwaukee Black Talk.
Tired of hearing no from other banks? No to a loan? No to a checking account? Just no? At Brewery Credit Union, they find ways to say yes. Yes to second chances. Yes to rebuilding credit. Yes to helping you save, borrow, and thrive. Work with your credit specialist and move your financial life forward. Brewery Credit Union, Milwaukee's best place to borrow and save. Visit brewerycu.com. That is brewerycu.com. Federally insured by NCUA.
Hey there, did you hear? There are still spots open for Girl Scout Summer Camp 2025.
Whether you're into water activities, arts and crafts, sports and games, exploring nature, or even horseback riding, there's a camp just for you.
Choose from GSY's day camps, overnight camps, community day camps, or Camp Hero.
Bring a friend and get ready for a summer full of adventure, friendship, and leadership.
Register today and let's make this the best summer ever, Girl Scout style.
Great impressions will exceed your expectations. Great impressions, perceptions, everything.
At Great Impressions Graphics and Printing, they've been proudly serving the community for over 26 years. From their location at the corner of 54th and Burleigh in Milwaukee, their dedication to quality and customer satisfaction has made them a trusted name in printing and design. Great Impressions offer a wide range of services, including banners, posters, yard signs, business cards, programs, and postcards. Plus, they specialize in custom apparel printing, perfect for family reunions, sports outings, business promotions, and more. For your next project, visit greatimpress.com. That's greatimpress.com. Great Impressions. They're here when you need them.
Great impressions, perceptions, everything.
This is Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. 833-212-1017 is the number. What's up, Lana Banana? There will be fireworks in approximately 9 parks per the City of Milwaukee 4th of July Commission. There's a 4th of July Commission? Oh, my gosh. Really? Well, it's not like they give commissions money anyway, so... White Widow said drone show at Lakefront for the 4th. The fireworks will not be the same. I'll pass. Thank you. Hey, I want to say congratulations to Greg. He's our qualifier for the 5K giveaway with Gruber Law Offices. So gruber-law.com. So I'm just saying. Let me see what I'm going to be talking about, because it was one of those days. There was too much news and there's so many things going on, and I wanted to talk about everything. And next thing I know, I looked up and, I forgot to tell you. Where's it at? See if I can find the website. Okay, it wasn't that one, so I got to check. One more website. Was it that one? Oh, my gosh. Anyway, the founder of The Whispers died. I was kind of bummed about that. You know? That was one of my groups. You know, I like The Whispers. And he passed away, so that was unfortunate, and yeah, Walter Scott. The R&B world is mourning the announcement of the death of Walter Scott, a member of the soul group The Whispers. According to Soul Tracks, the co-founder of the group, who was battling cancer, died at the age of 81. It was confirmed by Desiree L. Benson, who works with The Whispers promotional team. We are incredibly heartbroken. It's a deep sadness as we confirm the passing of Walter Scott, beloved member of the legendary R&B group The Whispers. His voice, his presence, all that. That's unfortunate because I really, well, I like The Whispers. I really do. And their music was it was simple, you know. But that was back when music had a lot of innuendo. It did. It had a lot of innuendo and a lot of, you know, a lot of things that we, you know. But you might not understand it. You might not understand it. So they made songs like that. It's a love thing. So. All right. So, I mean, now this is the song I got to admit. This song drove me crazy. The reason it drove me crazy is because every time I heard it, like, it was just a cheesy song. It was just, I don't know. Something about this song just, like 1970s, black and white, you know, like when color first came out, you know, rock steady. So, I don't know. So anyway, that's unfortunate. He passed away, and yeah, I'm gonna miss that music. Probably not. Probably not. Yeah, it's that bubblegum type, you know, for older people, older bubblegum. You know, like it's almost, I don't know. I never really understood why people liked The Whispers, but they were kind of cool. They kind of got on you. You know, you kind of got over. Hey, when we come back, I want to talk about a case that the Wisconsin Supreme Court upheld. And I want to explain it to you by saying the nurses in the UW health system, they got punched in the face. And now with 101.7 The Truth Traffic, here's Debbie Lazaga.
Eastbound 94, we've got delays from before Highway 164 all the way through the Barker Road area. You're back on the brakes from the county line all the way to about 35th Street. On the westbound side, it's actually looking pretty good. Northbound 43, heavy from Fond du Lac Avenue to Keefe. Southbound, slow from Good Hope Road, pretty much all the way down past Fond du Lac Avenue. And then we do still have this accident on 94 southbound just before you get to the airport spur off on the right shoulder. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Tonight, partly cloudy skies, lower humidity, a low of 63. Then tomorrow, mostly sunny, a high of 78 at the lake, 84 inland. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 101.7 The Truth.
More of Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris is next on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Hey everybody, it's Sherwin Hughes, and I got to tell you about one of my absolute favorite places in the city, Mr. B's Privileged Lounge, located on the northwest side of Milwaukee at 8617 West Brown Deer Road. Mr. B's is your go-to destination for comfort food, an incredible drink menu, and live music that keeps the vibes going all night long. So whether you're winding down or if you want to turn up, Mr. B's has the flavor, the energy, and the atmosphere you've been looking for. Mr. B's Privileged Lounge, privileged to serve.
It's time for Truth Takes, a thought-provoking commentary on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. Here is Carrie Noni with her truth.
You know, sometimes the mundane isn't a burden, it's the beauty of living. I came to this conclusion after recently watching the movie Subservience on Netflix. It's a crazy film, y'all. I would suggest you check it out. But it's a story that explores our relationship with technology and how it's programmed to take our burdens away. This movie really got me thinking about how much we're wired to avoid struggle. We create tools and shortcuts to make life easier, whether it's robots, apps, or even outsourcing everyday tasks. But in the process, we risk forgetting the value of the little things we go through every day. Sure, folding laundry or grocery shopping might feel like chores. I literally dread cleaning up. But isn't there something grounding about them? Something that reminds us we're human. Life isn't just about the highlights or the easy parts. It's about the messy, repetitive, and sometimes inconvenient stuff too. Think about it. Who would you be if you didn't have to face the small frustrations that test your patience, or the routines that push you to show up for yourself or the people around you? The mundane moments, the ones we rush to escape, are often the ones that shape us. If life was nothing but convenience, where's the growth? Where's the grit that teaches us resilience? And most importantly, where's the appreciation for the moments that do take our breath away? So maybe the next time you find yourself annoyed by the daily grind and are on the brink of crashing out, you pause, you breathe, and remind yourself that the beauty of life isn't just in the big moments, but in every little thing that makes them possible.
This has been Truth Takes on the award-winning 1017 The Truth. Listen to Jammin' with Juice with Ben Jammin and Carrie Noni weekdays from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m.
This Associated Bank Sports Update on 1017 The Truth is powered by ESPN Milwaukee. I'm Brandon Snide. Milwaukee Brewers will begin a 3-game series against the Colorado Rockies over at American Family Field. The Milwaukee Brewers at 45-36 on the season. Jose Quintana on the mound. First pitch is set for 7:10. Over to the NBA, where the Milwaukee Bucks made their selection in the NBA draft last night. Number 47th overall.
The Milwaukee Bucks select Bogoljub Markovic.
Markovic last played in Serbia, where he averaged just over 13 points per game.
Certainly from a physical side and mental side, it has prepared me, I think, the most out of anyone here, in my opinion. But I'm just super glad to be here, blessed, ready to get to work.
This Sports Update brought to you by Associated Bank, proudly supporting your hometown teams. Member FDIC.
You are listening to Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. 833-212-1017 is the number. I was just looking. A kid got bit by a shark at Jones Beach. Yeah, in New York. How? Now let me be honest. I hang out in New York sometimes. And I was actually planning, and I had to detour this year. I was headed to Sag Harbor to go hang out. I was going to do a trip. It's about an hour, 2-hour drive from New York. More like the Oyster Bay area. I think I can fly into Islip or Ilip, however you'd pronounce it, and drive. But I don't feel like driving that far. And I don't take those little puddle hopper, puddle jumper, yeah. When I can see the propeller going around because I'm sitting 5 feet from it on an airplane, I'm not trying to do that. I am not trying to do that at all. So yeah, I've been, bit by a shark. All right, so JS Online has a story. UW Health is not legally required to recognize its nurses union or engage in collective bargaining, unanimous state Supreme Court rule. When we examine the statutory language along with the statutory history, we conclude that Act 10 ended collective bargaining requirements formally placed on the University of Wisconsin Hospitals and Clinics Authority, writes Justice Brian Hagedorn in an opinion released today. The court's ruling upholds previous decisions by Wisconsin Employee Relations Commission and Dane County Circuit Court. It also brings to the fore the lasting impact of Act 10, you know, the part everybody was screaming and hollering and fighting and, oh, I can't stand it, I hate it. But then when you looked at it, it saved cities money and it saved everybody. And then after 5 years, firefighters and cops had to pay into their own pension and they lowered the, and so everything kind of balanced out and it went away. Well, Hagedorn, the author of the court's unanimous opinion, provided legal counsel in the creation and defense of the law, and Jacob Frost, the Dane County judge who previously ruled in UW's favor, appeared to have signed a petition to recall Walker over the law. Right? Now, how could that happen? How could two people that wanted to recall somebody get on a court and then support the law? Here's why. When you sit in court as a judge, you have to be what? Impartial. And you have to weigh both sides against the law. And I'm not doing a good job of explaining it because I was on the law enforcement side. I wasn't a lawyer nor a judge. But what it came down to is that the law says no more. You can have a union, but you can't collectively bargain. Your raise is based on what? Inflation or whatever. And that's it. And let's not get into the fights of, you know, what was the longest? Maybe 5-6 years. Police supervisors went without a contract for 5 or 6 years. The entire time I was a sergeant, half that time, I was a sergeant for 10 years. Half that time we didn't have a contract. So I was making, I think at the time, let me see, I was making about $40,000 a year. Think about that, $40,000 a year. So all the time I'm working, they have to pay me back pay because the contract covers the time that it expired. Well, the contract had been expired for 5 years. So that means over 5 years, I got step pays each time based on what my new pay would be. Plus, you got to pay the difference of whatever I was making per hour while I worked for 5 years. So you're talking 2,080 hours per year. You know, it's 40 hours a week, 52 weeks a year. Times 5. It might have been closer to 6. So think about how much money they paid. You know what I'm trying to remember, our salary went from $40,000 to $78,000, like overnight. It was ridiculous. And then you got a back paycheck. Guess what happened in 6 months? The 5-year contract ended and we were back in negotiation. It was crazy. That stuff needs to stop. You need to be able to control the cost for a city so a city doesn't go through what they go through. Just like they did with Act 10, and they were able to change the pension system so that the city won't go broke paying out pensions. When I think about the way the city pension is structured, you got to bring more people to town. Just be able to pay everything. Forget the salary. I'm just talking about all the bonuses and they don't really give out bonuses, all the pay increases and step increases and all that stuff. So it's tough. Miles said, y'all quiet today. And then Not Really a City Girl said, I'm running errands for my friends who's still in the hospital paying her bills. I wish I had a friend like that. Well, no, I don't. Anyway. Interesting. Interesting. So you just walking and listening. I can appreciate that. I can appreciate that. But yeah, we need to recognize the state Supreme Court with both liberal and conservatives on it voted to uphold the law. And then whoever wrote the story had to throw that in. Well, you know, We have to fight our collective bargaining, you know. Well, the nurses said in a statement, our fight to restore collective bargaining rights don't end in the courtroom. Well, where do they end? We will continue to explore all pathways to restore our full collective bargaining rights. You can't. The Wisconsin Supreme Court said no. We got Act 10. Act 10 held up in court. It held up to judicial scrutiny, and now you got it. We're done. And so many people have structured all of their payment and all of their budgets on that. And you want to just rip it up and make the taxpayers pay for it? I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think so. That's over. Wisconsin Employment Relations Commission ruled in November 2022, UW Health is not required to, by law, to recognize their union to engage in collective bargaining. So they went out on a strike. I think that's what the strike was about. Their last union contract expired in 2014. At the time, Act 10 eliminated most collective bargaining for public employee unions, barring it from negotiating a new contract. So, and the state Supreme Court said, yep, that's true. We're done. And so, I mean, I understand and I feel for them. Now UW Health needs to come up with some money that they need in order to make sure that those things are taken care of, right? I'm just saying, because, you know, nurses need loving too.
Don't touch that dial. More of Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com. Truth Nation, are you looking for a fun opportunity to showcase your clothing line, restaurant, nonprofit organization, food truck, or small business? Well, look no further than doing it at our Truth Family Fest on Saturday, August 23rd from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Riverside University High School. We are currently accepting vendor applications for our festival, and you don't want to miss out on this great opportunity to promote your business and be part of all the fun. To be a vendor at Truth Family Fest, visit truthfamilyfest.com and sign up today.
Great impressions will exceed your expectations. Great impressions, perceptions, everything.
At Great Impressions Graphics and Printing, they've been proudly serving the community for over 26 years. From their location at the corner of 54th and Burleigh in Milwaukee, their dedication to quality and customer satisfaction has made them a trusted name in printing and design. Great Impressions offer a wide range of services, including banners, posters, yard signs, business cards, programs, and postcards. Plus, they specialize in custom apparel printing, perfect for family reunions, sports outings, business promotions, and more. For your next project, visit greatimpress.com. That's greatimpress.com. Great Impressions. They're here when you need them.
Great impressions, perceptions, everything.
Hi, Drew and Jonathan Scott here, reminding you that a lot of life's firsts are better with help from American Family Insurance. Like your first home expansion or your first big lightning strike. There's a first for everything. Get the right home policy at the right price with the right help from American Family's agents. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Ready to buy your first house, move into your forever home, or simply refinance? At Associated Bank, they've got you. With the right lending plan and guidance, you can achieve your dreams. Your financial goals are closer than you think, and Associated Bank is excited to help you reach them. Learn more at associatedbank.com/lending or ask a banker for details. Subject to credit approval, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Don't scroll past summer. Experience it live at Summerfest, because it's more than just a music festival. It's your summer highlight reel. Don't miss Summerfest, June 19th to July 5th. Presented by American Family Insurance. Get tickets at summerfest.com.
When you're high, you feel different. Pretty obvious, right? You think different, talk different, but if you feel different, you drive different. So if you're high, just don't drive. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
It's Truth in the Afternoon with Dr. Ken Harris on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Hey, Truth Nation, violence is a problem that affects us all, but together we can make a difference. The award-winning 1017 The Truth wants to ignite positive change and bring awareness to the senseless violence occurring in our community. That's why we're hosting the third annual Truth Walk Against Violence, led by Tori Lowe. Saturday, July 12th, Victory Over Violence Park, right down MLK to our studio, 3rd Street Market Hall. So over the next week or so, Tori's going to be interviewing politicians, community leaders about how we can better improve this city, bring resources to stop the violence. Come join us. TruthWalkAgainstViolence.com is where you can register. That's Truth Walk Against Violence. Right now, sign up to walk against violence. Supported by 1MKE. That's on Saturday, July 12th from 9 till noon. You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. Tori Lowe Show's coming up next. We got the best of all weekend long. God willing, I'll see you on Monday with Truth Roundtable. We got some powerful topics coming up. And, of course, on Monday night, Truth Unfiltered. So it'll be great. Hey, y'all. God bless. Take care. Thank you, Rhea. Appreciate you. I'm out.